Thank you very much. Well, you know, the good news is I'm the only guy here that doesn't need a microphone tonight. So, is there anybody here who has not been introduced yet? All right. Cherry Oakley, my good friend, is right over here. The great Carol Reed is right over here. And the other liberal in the room, Judge Eric Moyer, right over here. I mentioned, in no particular order, but I mentioned Eric because when I decided, after 53 years, by the way, after 53 years that I thought it was time that I would tell my story, I thought I better tell the judge because he's like my best friend for like 25 years. And I thought, Judge, I could be wrong, but I think your phone might ring at 10:45. So I go over to his beautiful house in Oak Lawn. We're sitting on his unbelievable patio. We're smoking a cigar. We're drinking a glass of wine. I said, Judge, I'm going to do something on Sunday nights, thank God for kids. He goes, oh, yeah, I know. You're going to talk about some kid dying. You're going to talk about the importance of kids. You're going to make everybody cry. I said, well, this year I'm talking about the time that I was attacked by another man when I was 10 years old. And the judge, without missing a beat, goes, we're going to need more wine. And as he said later, his phone lit up. I was sitting at Havana's, and I believe the judge was there with me as well. And a friend of mine looked at me. We were talking about the Jerry Sandusky case at Penn State. And this is what finally prompted me to share my story, if you will. Another buddy of mine, who's the opposite of the judge, a very conservative guy, looks at me and says, well, it just can't be true. It just can't be true. These kids would have said something had it happened to them. It just can't be true. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it can be true. We have created a society, as I said to the judge that particular night, we have created a society where being a victim of sexual abuse carries the attachment of shame. And I use the example of the Congresswoman from Arizona, Gabby Giffords. Gabby Giffords was shot in the head. She couldn't walk. She couldn't talk. And when she finally could, she thought her watch was a spoon. And she went on national television to expose the fact that she thought her watch was a spoon. And there was no shame attached to that because she was a victim. Had Gabby Giffords been raped, we would have never heard about it. Because we as a society have sent the message that if you are a victim of sexual abuse, there is some shame to be attached to that. And we need to change that. I said to the judge that very night, if we came to your house, someone broke into your house and they cut your legs off and they cut your arms off and they scarred your face, I said the whole town would stop with the tragedy that you're dealing with. And then when they wheeled you in on your little chair with no arms and no legs and scars across your face, our cameras would be there to record this heroic moment that you have recovered from being the victim of someone cutting off your legs, cutting off your arms, and scarring your face. Had you been raped, we would have never mentioned it. And quite honestly, he probably wouldn't have mentioned it either. We do it for women, and we do it for little boys. Those of you who did see it, and I've seen the ratings, not as many of you saw it as you say you did, but I appreciate it. I was 10 years old. And forgive me, I really won't go all this long, but this is kind of like being on a Channel 8 sportscast, and Scott's familiar with this. I'm always the last thing in the program, and then they're running out of time before I get up. But I was 10 years old in Logan, Iowa. It was a town of 1,000 people. There were 59 kids in my graduating class. It really was the Mayberry of Iowa. I had two great parents who served dinner every night, and we ate together. I had two parents who went to every game that I ever played. My mom took me to church every Sunday morning and every Wednesday night for fellowship classes. I had teachers who demanded excellence from me because they didn't make excuses for my failures in the classroom. and I had a support staff every step of the way. After I told my story about being 10 years old and being attacked by a 16-year-old boy at the baseball field in Logan, Iowa, at the age of 10, two of my very best friends, two men who have been to my house, two men who have slept in my bedrooms, two men that I have vacationed with and I have partied with beyond control. Two men that I know more about them and they know more about me than I would want anybody in this room to know. Two of my favorite men that I grew up with, that I slept in their houses, I partied with them, I vacationed with them, I graduated with them. Two of a class of 59 from a town of 1,000 emailed me and said, "Oh my God, Dale, it happened to me." Three of us, at least three of us that we know of. As I said that night on the air, everybody in this room knows someone who was a victim of sexual abuse. You might not think you do, but I know you do, because you all know me. And there are others. There are others that you honestly don't know about. When I did that commentary on that Christmas Eve night, 1,600 emails from all over the world. This internet really is kind of a scary thing, by the way. I had emails from Puerto Rico, from the Philippines, from Canada, and from London, and from every state in the Union. 1,600 plus emails. Men and women from the ages of 83 to 15 telling me that I think I'm going to share my story too. So if you give me a plaque for that tonight, if you honor me for that tonight, I appreciate it. But what my real objective was, and what my real objective is to spread the word of what Madeline's organization does. And thanks to Carol Reed, thanks to Robert Howard from Don Davis Auto Group, thanks to David Hull from Mary Kay Cosmetics, we're going to do that, and thanks to Sherry, who I will lean on to promote this, by the way. Next June, in my backyard, I will get the band that I have brought with me tonight, and I will get them back with their real bands, because this group tonight, by the way, and I have to let me digress for just a moment. Chris and I went to Steve Ritter, the drummer's birthday party a couple of months back, and I might have been overserved by an irresponsible bartender. I blame the bartender, by God. A man should know my limit. And I said, I'm having this event in late September, and I said, why don't you come play for us? And I was thinking seriously, grab a guitar and come play. And they all went, yes. We walked in tonight, did we not, baby? We walked in tonight, we see the whole setup. They got the drum set up, they got the speakers set up, and Chris goes, oh my God, I thought they knew you were drunk. And I said, well, as Keith Taylor looked at me, he goes, and that would be any different compared to what? But we'll have this party in June. This organization, if they do it well, and from what I've learned from Stephanie and others and Madeline, I'm pretty sure that, we did this for ALS 2 years ago, and then it was our 25th annual summer party. Some of you might have heard of this, but I had this annual party in my backyard, and with all due respect, I've got a hell of a backyard. I had this party in my backyard for 25 years, and we shut it down. And we did it for ALS 2 years ago, and I think they made like $109,000, $106,000. More importantly, for about a month on Channel 8, we promoted the work of ALS. We will do the same thing for this organization here. We will accomplish two things, and as always, we will need your help. But I have already arranged for everything to be paid for because of the sponsors, and Carol Reed, who found me the title sponsor. And I love a woman who can find a title sponsor for an event in June who says, can we pay you now? Like, well. Robert Howard from Don Davis Auto Group says, here's my $10,000. David Hall from Mary Kay Cosmetics says, here's my $10,000. We will sell tickets. We have had over 1,000 people in my backyard for the past 20 years. Now, I am telling you this. The judge will verify this. Maybe some of you have been there before. It's a hell of a party. But we will spread the word. We will spread the word of TexProtects. We will talk on Channel 8 about the importance of the work you do. We will talk about the importance of changing our society to make them aware of what we need to do. And we will make a lot of money. And then I will get drunker in hell and take my plaque to my house. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
You working tonight at 10?
No. Not when my band shows up. Not when my band shows up.
The way you're drinking that wine, we were all going to tune in.
As you well know, Scotty, it ain't no problem.
Yeah, I know. That's where the expression TMI came from. Thank you, Dale. Congratulations. Well deserved. So what's the date? What's the date? June what?
It'll probably be the next to last Saturday in June. We're debating on a date, but you'll hear plenty about it. And it'll probably be, do we not agree, Chrissy?
Like middle of June?
Yeah, like the middle of June, the next to last Saturday in June. The guys that you hear playing are actually, as I said earlier, the guys that are playing tonight are like 3 different bands, who will all be there, by the way. And then I have a headliner named Jason D. Williams. And Jason D. Williams is Jerry Lee Lewis on steroids. And it is the most incredible, am I right, Judge? It is the most incredible live, no shit. Is that what we get? All right, that's a legal term for you guys. Yeah. It's a legal term from the liberal judiciary. But seriously, look for it. We'll have, tickets will be like $100 a pop, and there'll be all the food, all the drinks, and some of the greatest live music, and did I mention, in my backyard.
Well, we have come to the final segment of the night, and maybe we save the best for last, because we get a chance right now to hear from the woman that had this vision back in 2002 and said, you know what, we need to make a difference. We need to do something here. And she has done that, as we all well know, and we've all talked about it tonight. So put your hands together for our founding chair, Madeline McClure.
No. I deserve no credit. I am absolutely nothing like you and Lieutenant Governor and Dale. Believe me, I am just a mere little vehicle. All I can say is I feel so blessed that this guy is opening his backyard to our cause. Thank you so much, Dale. Thank you so much. Somebody swiped my notes, and I'm not as clever as Florence or Lieutenant Governor Dale to do this off the top of my head. So anyway, you've been all so patient, and I know it's time for barbecue and wine, but I want to just say a couple of quick things. First of all, before I got involved in TexProtects, I wanted to say 6 years as a psychotherapist working with abused and neglected children, I always interviewed the mom in the intake assessment. And there wasn't one mom, there wasn't one caregiver that I interviewed that hadn't been sexually abused herself. I learned that if you're abused and you don't acknowledge what happened, you're blind to protecting your own children. And so I thought, you know, I'm not going to heal 15 kids at a time on my caseload. While that's necessary, these aren't diseases that are inevitable. These aren't unintentional injuries. This is something that is so preventable. And that's why I started TexProtects, because I thought there's got to be research out there showing the true programs that are proven to reduce abuse and neglect, and we found them. The Nurse Family Partnership is one of several home visitation programs that reduce child abuse and neglect in half. And furthermore, reduce a huge economic burden on taxpayers by yielding over $5 for every dollar invested. Now, what Republican can't love that? Oh, my remarks appeared. Well, too late for that. I guess I do want to say that we have got to go forward. We've made a start, but this should not be something that's in the dark, in the closet. This next legislative session, we are going to need all of your help. One of the bills that we really need to work on is one that not only trains new teachers and child care workers on how to prevent, recognize, and report abuse, but we have to extend that to any professionals that work for institutions of higher education that have contact with minors. And there will be no excuse for somebody that doesn't report abuse and neglect to the authorities. We need to make sure, yes, the abuser, the perpetrator, that's whose shoulders all of this goes on. Absolutely. And the shame belongs to them, not the victim. Thank you, Dale. But we do need to hold everyone else accountable. As a matter of fact, it's always bothered me a little bit that in our wonderful state, we make it a state jail felony if you make a false report of abuse. But if you don't report abuse, it's a misdemeanor. Excuse me, we better ramp up that felony. I'm so sad that Lieutenant Governor Dewhurst left because I wanted to announce my new legislation for next session, that it will now be a state jail felony if you don't report abuse and neglect. For professionals, not your everyday guys, but professionals that know better. And we also need to hold our CPS accountable, our administrators. What I really want to do is, like we're doing with the teaching profession, let's use best business practices and use performance-based incentives and hold everybody accountable from the top to the bottom. These kids, 20% being re-abused, it's bad enough that we can't prevent child abuse and neglect, but if a child comes forward, makes an outcry, or somebody witnesses that they've been abused, and they go through the CPS system, get placed somewhere, and they're re-abused, folks, we've created our next generation of juvenile delinquents. This issue costs us every year $7 billion. Let me repeat that. Every single year, it's been quantified through cost-benefit studies, $7 billion a year. CPS costs, law enforcement, judicial costs, of course, mental health care, substance abuse, all of the issues, the tentacles of this issue are growing. They fester like an infection and grow until we are choked by this myriad of social problems. We have got to get in front of it and stop it. And while we're serving 4,000 families with the Nurse Family Partnership, as you've seen, we need to reach 26,000. But I can't do it alone. I do have staff. Praise God. I want to introduce every one of them. Where are they? Ryan Hutzel, my administrative assistant, raise your hand, and research associate, master social worker. Amanda Langford, here she is. She's the head of the event. Amanda is wonderful. We have Dr. April Wilson, a brand new director of research. She's somewhere. Diana Martinez, director of public policy. They call it their plane. And we have Betsy Holland, our new director of management of grants. And we've got we have now over 13 interns. Clarissa, please raise your hand as one of our top interns. So we have gotten a lot of folks together. We're moving in the right direction, but I do need your help. So I really appreciate any level of a gift you can make and help us address the root cause of these horrific and really the root of a myriad of social, educational, and economic problems. And God bless you. I do have last comment. There is one giver to TexProtects that has not been acknowledged all these years. He's our top giver. He doesn't want recognition, and he gets mad if I give him recognition, but I'm just determined to acknowledge our unsung hero. He's our biggest donor, and he's the guy I sleep with every night who wakes up with me in the morning. That's my husband, Jim McClure. Get over here. In recognition of the Friends of TexProtects, the grateful children of Texas honor Jim McClure for his unwavering support of our mission. Thank you. Say something.
When we came here from New York 16 years ago, Madeline was already working on the idea for doing something in this area. I remember very clearly that you could open a newspaper, turn on television, you could go to cocktail parties, and you never heard a single person talk about this problem. And we all know why. It's an awful thing. It's almost unimaginable. Who wants to think about it? Put it away. Maybe it'll go away. The biggest single change and the impetus to the legislative change and the things to come, I think, are people like Dale Hansen who speak out and qualify people who've been abused to speak out in kind. If we can just do that, if we can get the victims to come forward as they're being victimized, the problem will begin to disintegrate. Anyhow, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you, Madeline, for the award, and if any of you are interested, the reason I got involved in all of this is really simple. She brought a little baby home, and she said, yeah.
Dale, there it is. Dale, well done. Congratulations. Florence, well done. Congratulations. Madeline, well done. Congratulations. Thanks to all of you.
Enjoy the barbecue and stay.
And like Oprah always has a party gift, your party gift is to be the conduit to this incredible community and tell them what TexProtects is all about. Bring a friend next time. Good night, everybody.